We're here to talk about our little Kang.
Special K.
What do you think of season 2 so far? Off the back of season 1.
It seems like they made season 2 regardless of season 1. Like they kind of forgot about season 1 while making season 2.
Yeah.
It kind of affects it, kind of doesn't. Like Sylvie seems like a completely different person.
Very different.
Like she went from loving Loki and disagreeing about one thing to now she's more than happy to possibly stab him.
In every interaction.
Yeah,
Except we know that her character must change because in episode 1, you know when you see that small glimpse of her in the elevator, which...
Yes.
And I'm like, why wasn't that a bigger thing?
Because he time traveled. That's my odd thing. So they kind of set the season up for me in trailers as if it was going to be a time hopping adventure, and Loki would probably like be getting torn from timeline to timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Like they show him doing time jumping. I think they even have Obi say, "Oh, you're time skipping," and then they show them in the Ant-Man post-credit scene where it's 1893.
Yeah.
And it's like, I thought that was going to be the show, which was interesting to me as a big old Doctor Who nerd. Like Loki having to deal with a problem while constantly being rushed through time. It'd be like Quantum Leap on crack. And I think that could be really interesting. But instead of like fixing problems, it's like he has to solve one big issue while time skipping. And like, honestly, forget the multiverse at this point, because it seems like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're doing slight variants, but like we spent all of episode 3 in a branch timeline that is no different to what any normal person would know. Like they say, oh, this is the World's Fair that happened in 1893 in Chicago. Like this happened. But then obviously Kang wasn't there in our timeline or like in the MCU timeline, but that doesn't really affect anything, at least up to now. Like he's got all these crazy inventions, but he could have done that and then just like no one ever discovered it. Like it doesn't change anything. It's like Ahsoka going to a different galaxy. This different galaxy, this different timeline, nothing is overly different. It's not like everyone has tails in this multiverse.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Strange, like all the multiverses they showed were different.
Yeah.
Because they needed...
But I guess like they don't have to change big things because it's just branches from the regular world.
But they needed
to get... it's not crazy enough changes where it's like, oh, this is a world where 1894 or 93 or whatever was actually just as technologically advanced as the 21st century.
Yeah.
Because Kang was in it
but why,
sharing his inventions.
Why bother if they don't do that?
Yeah.
There's no point in it being a multiverse. So I would rather them just stick to the time skipping. But time skipping, he solves that in the first episode.
Yeah.
The first episode is almost...
It's barely an inconvenience.
It's super easy barely an inconvenience because it's immediately, oh, you're time skipping. And then Obi's like, oh, I don't know how to fix time skipping. Time travel shenanigans, he now knows how to fix time skipping. And I love that. That was like a tiny little 20-minute Doctor Who segment or Doctor Who concept. But they kind of ruined it by using too much jargon.
Yeah.
Like, nothing they say actually makes sense to us. Whereas a good Doctor Who episode uses things we know and can twist them to sound right. So you're like, it sounds believable. Whereas in this, it's such jargon that it doesn't make sense at all. Like, there's nothing for us to latch onto and go, okay.
And I love, like, in episode 1, I think, like, I don't know, Mobius says, like, doesn't that distort the time quantum field and the thread extrapolator thing? And Obi's like,
that makes perfect sense.
like, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I think I even wrote that down.
It's like if they make fun of it, we can't make fun of it. You know?
Exactly. They're just like, if you acknowledge the stupidity, you can get away with it. And I'm like, you can't really. And they do the same thing in episode 3 where they're just redoing the finale of season 1. And Sylvie's like, this feels familiar. I'm like, you can't just... What?
Yeah, but
like,
also it did happen last week for us.
Yeah, like a couple of days. And she's just been working at Macca's ever since.
Yeah. My big thing with this is, and for our keen-eyed viewers and our super fans out there.
Oh my God.
Hey, super fans.
We have those?
Yes, my girlfriend. In our MCU, Save the MCU video, my big idea was Loki season 2 would be the start of what phase 5 should be. Or like the Kang...
Yeah,
you know,
that was how it was sold
he's supposed to be the Thanos.
Yeah, that was how it was sold to us. Sure.
Yeah, well, that's what I want. Ant-Man made it seem like this show was going to be like the Kang show. You know?
Well, okay. So season 1 set things up as Loki will change the Marvel universe forever. Like what happens in Loki, you don't want to miss it because this will shape the MCU.
Yeah,
and then they never reference it again.
Now it's like not
until Ant-Man and the Wasp. We get introduced to a completely different Kang who should or shouldn't exist, not quite sure, bunch of other Kangs, and then this show doesn't reference Ant-Man.
Yeah.
But that's half the MCU's problem. In the Eternals, a giant celestial burst out of the earth, and that was 3 or 4 years ago at this point, and no one's mentioned it.
Yeah.
Not a single character has mentioned the fact that Earth is an egg.
Yeah.
It's goddamn kill the moon, Doctor Who fans.
But yeah, this doesn't feel like it has consequences in the MCU.
Yeah, so they've gone from this show will change everything, and then it didn't, to it feels like this season they've decided to scale it back so far. I guess not scale it back impact-wise. So the plot's still grandiose and, the multiverse is at stake. But what it seems like is it's going to change nothing for, like, normal people.
Is that our mid-season? Because season one was only 6 episodes.
The second season of Loki will run for 6 episodes until November 9th.
But I'm really sorry. And people are going to say, but what do you mean this and the consequences? Nothing's happened.
No.
And I know people are going to say, the strands are falling apart. It's going to explode. The loom.
It's the same problem from season 1.
That's not a problem per se. As much as season 1 was a problem.
Yeah, my view of it. Well, season 1 was we need to find Sylvie / Loki, and now season 2 started off. We need to find Sylvie, and then it's like, oh, okay, now we need to find Miss Minutes. Okay, now we need to find Kang.
Yeah,
and it's very.
But like, I feel like it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, well,
what's happening?
The episode 3 did move it a little bit further forward, but episode 3 should have been episode 2. You could cut 2 out, like, honestly.
Yeah.
2 is like a side story with Brad, and we're trying to kill.
Episode 2 could have been one line from that one guy who they've made like one of the smartest people in the TVA.
Yeah.
He could have just been like, I think I have a tempad lock on Sylvie's tempad.
Yeah,
and then they could have just shown up at the Macca's. You didn't have to do the whole going to the sacred timeline to capture Brad and do like the entire. And I know it's pivotal for character growth.
Even if they did, and Brad just gave it up immediately, or they like tortured Brad
from the
then
start,
that would still be something. But they kind of like introduced Brad to make him a problem, to then solve the problem. Which that's how storytelling works. It's almost a filler.
Yeah.
Like, that is how little of consequence all that is. It's literally just like, we need to find one thing to get the next thing. So it's like, it's a quest line, right? And this is that random middle one that they're just like, oh, can you trade this fishing rod with this so that you can get another thing to just move on to the next thing? So it's like, it could just have been removed completely.
I really wish that this show was, instead of it just being like, we're going to make 6 episodes of the most perfect, hard-hitting Marvel content ever. I wish it was just...
that was their goal?
I think that's...
You don't think they decided, shit, guys, we need something on Disney Plus after Ahsoka?
I think someone in a room, someone was like, oh my God, I'm about to just freaking reboot the MCU.
Timelines. They could have.
Also, they could use this to reboot the MCU.
But they won't.
No. They already paid...
Because the Marvels needs to happen.
They've already made Black
Well, that's the other
Falcon
problem. We know that they've made... We know like 4 movies down the line. We know that the Echo TV show needs to come out.
Yeah.
So this can't change anything because Echo needs to happen. Everyone needs to know about Echo.
They could have had fun with this, and I know it would cost $1 billion, but have it be like a 20-episode monster of the week, problem of the week.
Oh, it could have been a buddy cop show.
Yeah.
That would have been more fun.
But instead of making it 6 episodes, make it 20 episodes long.
Yeah.
And have it be Loki at the start of the episode.
You mean a serialized show? Yeah. Like,
he jumps somewhere because he's time skipping.
They don't make that anymore.
Mobius has to track him down. Loki's half solving a problem. Mobius comes in. They buddy cop. They solve a problem. Sylvie's in like 5 episodes along the way, and the season finale.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Well, that's the thing.
Writer's strike. Who
there's
needs
this
them?
massive thing at the moment about Disney's in trouble because they don't know how to make TV shows. Like, they've taken their movie mentality, they've made a movie, and they've just cracked it up into a bunch of different episodes.
Yeah.
I will say Loki season 1 and season 2 do feel, so far, a lot better than most of the stuff Disney Plus is pumping out. Like, the episodes work as episodes. Like, when this episode ended, you're like, okay, we did the thing we came to do. It's not like... Every episode isn't a cliffhanger.
I think 1 and 2 felt a bit like they were written as one big one.
Yeah.
Like a part 1, part 2, but that's fine.
I wouldn't have been shocked if at some point the plan was to release them at the same time. Because you know how like Ahsoka part 1 and 2 came out at the same time. Like, they do that all the time. I wouldn't have been shocked if they did.
F3 felt very independent because it starts like with its own...
Yeah, we start going to 1890.
Yeah.
1865.
We don't start
and
with-
then we fix that problem,
Yeah.
and then we fuck off back to the TVA. So the problem overall for this season so far, there's too many multiverses.
Yes. They're not pruning anymore.
But the reason they stopped making the multiverses, like why Kang made it one timeline, was because there were Kang variants, and he
Yes.
didn't want other Kang variants to destroy the multiverse. Whereas now, apparently, just the fact that there's a lot of multiverses is enough to destroy the multiverse.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is like a new threat that kind of doesn't make sense, because before the TVA, there were
Yeah,
multiverses.
this problem shouldn't have existed in the first
But now
place.
that there is the TVA, we're not allowed that. And that's going to destroy the TVA. And we're like, okay, destroying the TVA is maybe bad, but like not the end of the world. But then in episode 3, Loki's like, if you there won't be a world for any of us if we destroy the TVA. There's no future for you or me. And it's like, why? Like, why loom go boom?
Yeah, I have no idea. I think it's just so that they can have like a
show?
No, like a clock. There has to be a clock
But
running at all
we have
times.
no, oh, okay. We have a ticking clock, but we don't know where 0 is.
Yeah,
0
in
is,
terms of like the world ending because Kang's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even too many multiverses making the loom explode.
Well, now
every episode, Obi's
now it's
just like,
Kang
oh, no.
isn't even a problem, even though Loki doesn't know that Kang is an overall problem for the MCU. Like no one really knows
Yeah.
except for Scott Lang.
Everyone's just going off the fact that Loki told him so.
Yeah, but like right now, the only problem is the world's gonna end.
Yeah.
It's like we haven't introduced Kang as a problem yet.
Yeah. Like, why
We
not?
know he is.
Do we?
Yeah, because we watched
Even in-
Ant-Man 3 because we're idiots.
No, we saw him get beaten by ants.
Correct.
Ants.
That was probably the weakest guy ever.
Yeah, let's talk about He Who Remains.
Who?
He Who Remains. The boogeyman.
never heard of him.
So why does Jonathan Majors always have to play a guy with a big old quirk?
Like he can't just be like,
Yeah, like in season
Season
1,
one,
he
he
was
was
an
like-
insane person. Like, he was kooky.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I guess maybe you've been trapped at the end of time forever, but you didn't really, like,
why?
show that we're lonely.
It's
It was just, he
because-
was a kooky guy.
I think it's because we have to show the difference between. It's like, okay, you're going to be a lot of characters in our next phases. You need to differentiate between all of them because some of them are going to look the same. It's like it's not like it's Ramatut or like
Do we? Yeah.
like,
Also,
you know, all of
he
them.
always looks the same, whereas Loki always looks different.
yes.
Although I guess he was a crocodile one time.
He was a crocodile. He was a mummy man. He was a robot man. you know.
Yeah.
So it's like the ones that just look like Jonathan Majors. He has to differentiate them by having Einstein hair and being like a.
To me, it kind of feels a
you know?
little wanky. Like, he wants to prove that he can do different things,
Mm-hmm.
but
It honestly felt like it was like he's in a drama class and they're like,
Yeah.
change accent, change,
yeah,
like change.
That's exactly what I mean. It's
yeah,
like,
it feels like an episode of Space Jump,
he's kooky. He's possibly a con man that can't invent things.
but
But then they kind of say that he is smart because he made the prune.
and a fridge.
He made a fridge. I looked it up. He made the fridge 20 years earlier and built it into a chair.
Well, that's because you had to run away.
It's impressive. I don't know why he exists, I guess. Because, yeah, he's semi a con man because they say his loom machine was faked with, like, electricity. He just holds up a wire.
Yeah, he's like,
And I'm like, incredibly vague, but I guess him shouting, it's a fake. I believe you. Sure, why not? You
Yeah.
just paid $32,000 for this thing.
correct.
I don't get why they went back and forth. It's like they kind of talk about how he's maybe conning people so that he can have money to make his actual inventions. But then his con invention, the loom, was a real invention, but he had to fake that it worked because he was born too soon and didn't have the technology.
He is Tony Stark's dad. You know how Tony Stark's dad in Iron Man
it's like,
2
I
was
didn't
like,
have the technology at
I'm
the
limited
time.
by the science of my time.
Yeah.
You're my greatest invention, Tony. That's Kang right now.
Yeah, they could have shown him actually using actually fake inventions, but I guess they needed to double bluff Mobius.
Well, he
and
made those
stuff
pants
and be like,
that make you
made
taller
thunder
pants.
Yeah, pants that make you nuggets.
He
that
made
make
those
you come.
Wallace and Gromit fans.
Oh yeah, that's what they are. The Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
Love it. The strongest part of the show is Loki and Mobius, right?
We
And
love it.
I think pretty universally agreed. The best thing about the show, apart
Yeah.
from the semi Wes Anderson like look of the show, I don't think this episode looked as good. By the way, it still looked good.
I
but
think it just felt like they went to a set somewhere
yeah,
and just.
there's something about the TVA, the colors, the 50s aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like the TVA scenes look very nice. I very much enjoy.
I think
the
they
TVA.
have more actual sets. Like,
Yeah.
remember in the last episode when they're walking to the key lime pie place, they're like walking through like a little like hallway thing.
Yeah,
I'm
like they've
I'm
taken over an
look, they
entire
made a
thing.
set. I'm like, that's not on a green screen. Maybe.
Well, I mean, yeah, this show doesn't feel like it's shot on the volume as well, which really
I think
helps
season one felt a bit like that. I was like, I'm like, it's like half set, and then a lot of.
Oh, for some set extensions.
Yeah.
For some of it, yeah.
But like this
the
one
TVA
feels a
at
lot
least felt
more
real.
built.
Yeah, the TVA definitely has always been the highlight of the show for me, and the vibe. But yeah, so the best part of the show, and we do get a bit more of this. They're eating and talking again. They love to eat and talk.
Wow.
It's at least once per episode.
Eat your food. Isn't it great?
Is it the only reason like Owen Wilson is on set? He's like, if I can eat,
He's like, I have to eat something yummy in every
I'm
scene.
hungry.
But like,
Well, yeah.
imagine how many times he had to take a bite of key lime pie.
what I have a problem with is can you explain Loki to me? Like, explain Avengers 1 Loki, even Endgame Loki. Mm-hmm. He thinks he's superior to everyone else.
Yes, he literally has like a god complex.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So God complex, mischievous.
Literally in Avengers, he's like just killing humans because he's like he doesn't. I don't think he doesn't see the wealth in them.
But then, yeah, you watch.
worth.
They're beneath him,
Yeah.
which is a complete like it's not okay, but it is a completely fine way to treat a character. Like that's his character. He has a god complex, and he's a cheeky little tricky. He's a tricky boy.
Yeah.
Incredible. But then in this show, explain what Loki is.
He's Johnny TVA.
Yeah,
That's just who he is. He's just
he's here to help,
yes.
and
He just feels like
he's also really horny for Sylvie.
he just feels like the main character of our TVA show.
Yes, because they had to speedrun him to be a likable guy. That gets rid of people like
emotion. Feel all these character things that changed you.
Yeah, because everything that made him who he wasn't really there's no redeeming qualities to Loki. They only got away with it because they did it slowly over 10 years almost.
Yeah.
Because you speedrun him, you dragged away all those layers. You had to get rid of God
But it's
complex.
you're okay with the end thing because like he was getting closer to that over the show.
You're not okay with it because of Loki. You're okay with it because Tom Hiddleston is he's
Incredible.
one of the most charismatic people in the world,
Oh,
surely.
yeah.
Like this guy, so good. Especially
Literally
pairing
made
him
for
with
this
Mobius.
character.
Yeah,
Like
he carries. They need to give him depth, and the depth they were trying to give him was that he was trying to reconcile who he was with who he is now. But because again they sped ran because they had to speed run that, they took away all of that change, all of the drama from that change. They've robbed him of that.
Yeah.
So in episode 2, for instance, when he's torturing Brad, not even for a second do you believe he's actually torturing Brad. Whereas if he lost control and then he had to rein himself back in, he's like, I'm not that guy anymore.
Yeah.
That would have been more interesting. Instead, we have to deal with just like, it's a very obvious double bluff.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm just going to watch this man in a cube.
I would have liked him to, because what season 2 is doing is they can just give Loki whatever power they want, kind of. Like he's doing a lot of stuff that he couldn't do in season 1, and I know you're gonna say like it's because Sylvie gave him self-belief, and they talked about his mother.
Talked about his maybe
but-
bisexual.
Shut up, because he wasn't that strong in Infinity War, and he was like years older than he was in Avengers 1.
Yeah, well, everything
know?
else, his thing was always illusions and
Trickery,
magic.
yes.
But now he has telekinesis. He can teleport
He can
people.
shoot fireballs.
He can shoot
Teleporting
fireballs.
people is a big one. That
He can do big fart bombs. Oh, yeah. The fact they bring up teleportation and show that he can control it and put a guy in a cage in the 3rd episode ruins everything else that happens in the 3rd episode.
for the rest of the episode, I was like, just teleport him.
Yeah,
Just teleport
100%.
yourself. Just
like Kang's in danger, teleport him away. Ravonna Renslayer is about to prune Kang, and you need Kang. Teleport her away. His hands are lit up and everything. Like
Yeah.
like he does it to the
he does like this. He just does like this.
he does it to the big guy with zero effort. If he can teleport a person wearing clothes, could he not teleport a person in the suit?
No,
Beyond
TVA.
the thing.
So TVA.
Tova. Oh, that's right. He doesn't have his powers in the TVA. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I feel like they've ruined Loki, and he's only being held up by Tom Hiddleston. Mobius has kind of lost a lot of character and is now just kind of Mobius.
Yeah.
Like, because he's not willing to explore the fact he might be a real person, he's also, again, just doing stuff. Sylvie had an arc. Like, her
Great
arc is-
story arc in season 1.
I was happy with it.
Excited to see
It was
where it was
kinda
going to go. Are they going to delve into her past a bit?
But instead, she started working at a Macca's. She
She wanted normalcy. But I think it would have been funner but harder to do if she went to like an alternate Asgard and was like, just
like,
tried to relive her childhood rather than trying to make something of her adulthood. She tried to make something of the childhood she lost.
Yeah, like,
something.
anything except working to Macca's is the weirdest Macca's collab where Owen Wilson is like,
It's called a Big Mac.
And he's like,
I'm gonna get myself an apple pie.
he's like, the only thing they've done here is give us a great meal, and it's like, what? It's like, it's kind of funny. Like, it's I don't care that it's a Macca's. It's just dumb. But I don't get why she's decided to work at a Macca's.
Yeah.
Because, like, I guess she's like, oh, I don't need to run anymore.
Yeah.
But
she
is
just wants
working
a
at a
normal
Macca's.
life.
But all we've seen her do is work at a Macca's. She's not relaxing. She's not she's not doing anything except working at a Macca's and sitting on a truck. And it's like her character's just kind of pointless now. And then she's angry at Loki all the time and just has the worst haircut I've ever seen.
Yeah, like a weird mullet with bangs. It's really great. A haircut you would see on like a Aussie kind of 20 to 30-year-old
man
who like still goes clubbing.
Yeah.
And is like an absolute unit.
Alternative as.
Midway through the show.
Yeah, it's like I'm not enjoying it. It's just I don't care where it's going.
It's very different to our Ahsoka series. Go back and watch that if you haven't. It's really different to Ahsoka, where as Ahsoka was kind of like a dredge to go through. I'm enjoying Loki.
Yeah, moment to moment, I'm like pretty happy with Loki. It's when I look forward that I'm a bit disappointed. Yeah, like the moment to moment, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. I like this. Like, oh yeah, like this shot looks nice. Miss Minutes is fun, apart from the fact she's weirdly horny.
She's like, you can make me a body. You never made me a real woman.
They spend.
And I'm just like,
it's like 5 minutes. It's a long while.
Why am I so turned on?
It's a long while on this clockacy.
Dude. But it's like, I guess
weird.
like
It's such a strange direction to take it. Yeah, we're enjoying the moment to moment, but if I look forward to the end of the season, they're going to fix the loom, I guess. I don't really care. But if I look forward to what this means for the MCU, nothing. Really.
Nothing.
Like, because, again, they've introduced Kang in Loki.
Yeah.
They introduced Kang again in Ant-Man, and that's Kang the Conqueror from Ant-Man.
The thing is, they can't get rid of all the Kangs, otherwise they don't have a villain for the movies.
Like Phase 5 is just
like
confusing.
if they solve the issue here, they get rid of every Kang, like they make it so there's no more Kangs from any alternate universe, then that
the
means
show's over.
Yeah, the movies are all done. There's no
over. Yeah, we got to move on to the next phase.
So this show they have to win and lose, I think, at the end of this one.
Yeah, I guess. But like, yeah.
They have to like be like we won, but at what cost?
But what's the win? The TVA survives? Like,
the win is the TVA survives, but Kang... No, they find a way to make it so all multiverses can live together. But that means at the caveat
but that's what it was like
that multi-Kangs exist.
That was what it was like in Multiverse of Madness. We had a fully working multiverse.
That was under the that was under...
But the funniest thing...
Those are multiverses, not branches.
Stupid. The funniest thing that I do have to bring up is in episode 2 when Dox bombs and murders trillions of people, and Hunter 18, whatever her name is, Hunter x Hunter, looks like directly into the camera and goes, "Those are people.
They're killing billions."
And it's like, it has zero impact. It is the funniest thing.
It's like you just introduced these people to us. Like they were born 1 second ago.
Yeah.
And then now they're dying. It's like, you're killing them. They
But
didn't
also,
exist.
They're about to be reborn because in this episode even, and it makes sense.
But also they currently exist.
Well, the multiverse sprouts more multiverses constantly. So killing a bunch of them is like if you killed 1 million babies and then a second later 1 million babies were immediately replaced those babies and were kind of the same babies.
It's the same babies.
Yeah. But like maybe a little different. But then also your job a week ago was killing babies.
Stop using this because we're losing fans as we go.
But like Hunter x Hunter killed people for a living. She would murder entire...
She'd prune all timelines.
And then a week later, she's like, "Oh no, I was on the timeline."
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, that is some selfish ass shit.
Yeah.
And also, I hate this variant of Kang. He sucks.
Yeah, he sucks. No game.
Confusing show. Thank you.